This may be my most impulsive watch purchase ever. Did I regret it? We'll see. In my opinion, a purchase never truly becomes a buyer's remorse until a certain period of time. I'm going to let this one sit. So this is probably part 1 of many more parts of the video. So in this video, I will share my unfiltered, honest thoughts about this watch after wearing it for about a week. Also, at the end of this video, I will be featuring some of my subscribers' comments about this watch. So stay tuned to the end. This watch was totally unplanned. It was not even on my wish list to begin with. Although I really like the design of the Q Timex, it has not earned any spot on my wish list yet. For those who don't know, the Timex Q is a reissue model of the 1970s models during the quartz crisis. I love the Timex Q design, except the colors. Somehow this faded bezel ain't doing it for me, and somehow the color of the dial looks a little bit weird. What can probably convince me to get the quartz version is probably the Snoopy one because it's super cute. But I definitely won't pay retail price, and therefore I stopped paying attention to it. But one day during the end of December last year, my husband and I walked past a watch shop and they sell Timex watches, and they display this sign, sales 45%. So we thought, well, why not we just check it out? And that is when I saw this version, the M79. I totally had no idea that they released an automatic one. So the moment I saw this, I was very intrigued, except the price. But then the salesperson told me that there's actually extra discounts for this watch. So after discount, it's actually priced at 2.1 million rupiah, which comes about $130 and that time we have to go somewhere else for our year-end holiday, so we have to decide on that day itself. So yeah, there you have it. We decided to get it and we got it quite impulsively, but the question is it worth it? So in this video, I'll be breaking down into 3 sections: what I love about the watch, what I'm not bothered by, and lastly, what I dislike about this watch. Good news first. I love the aesthetic of the watch, generally speaking. This includes my first impression of seeing the watch for the first time under the display shelf in the watch shop. If I were to be specific and point out what I love, it will be the striking metallic colors of the bezel. I love this one way more than the Q Timex, as the quartz version features a more faded looking bezel, which I know some may like it more, but I personally prefer these striking colors better. I am also aware that the Batman bezel seem to be the most popular choices among these 3 variants. I personally prefer this Coke bezel because to me, I like the complementary look of the bezel and the red second hand. Also for me, I think the Coke bezel is more striking as has this pop of color. When I try on the Batman version, somehow it looks a little bit more subdued. But having said that, I had quite a difficult time making this choice. I keep shifting from one side to the other, but up to now, I have no regrets picking this one. But I don't know, probably in the future I will regret it. I have no idea, but stay tuned for my future videos, okay? Second thing that I love about this watch is the angular case-shaped design with a combination of polish and brush finish. Somehow, ever since I'm into this whole watch hobby, I favor mostly a lot of watches with this sort of angular case-shaped design. For example, the Tissot PRX, AP Royal Oak, the Patek Philippe Nautilus. So yeah, I always like this sort of watch design, especially if it comes with integrated bracelet. I do hope that one day I will get to own the Tissot PRX. But the same problem I have with the Tissot PRX 40mm Powermatics with this Timex M79 is the size. Due to its angular design, somehow it wears a tad big, especially for those with small wrists like mine. FYI, my wrist size is 150mm, which is really small. And that is probably also why when I was trying this piece in the retail shop, the salesperson kindly suggested me to go with the quartz version, as this M79 is usually worn by men. Women having smaller wrists tend to go with the smaller 38mm quartz version instead of this 40mm M79. I appreciate the feedback from the salesperson, and yes, I do agree that it looks a little bit big on my wrist, but I just can't find myself to get the quartz one because I just don't like the colors, and for the discounted price I'm paying, I think this mechanical watch has better value proposition. The third thing I love about this watch is the look of the bracelet. I know, a lot of you are afraid of its tendency plucking your hair out, but if we're just talking about the looks, it looks nice. It's handsome. I know, looks doesn't justify the pain of your hair being plucked, but I personally don't find it to be plucking my hair. Maybe this is due to my little hair on my wrist. So in short, I love the look of this watch. Somehow all these design elements produce this a little bit quirky, but quite an aesthetically pleasing watch. Now for the next section, what I'm not bothered by. These are some of the things that people might complain about, but I personally am not bothered by it. I don't mind it. So first thing is the feel of the bezel. Some find it to be the weakest part of the watch, while some find it to be a sturdy one. Well, for me, my first impression is I felt it's very tactile and it's very loud, and I quite like it. Second is the movement Miyota 8205. Here's something that a lot of people usually complain about, the so-called cheap movement. Some feel that it's way too cheap, some even call it ugly and complains about it being noisy. I personally am not bothered by it. It's not really that loud, to be honest. Well, I can see where those complaints coming from, especially if they were to pay retail price for it. Now, if I really were to nitpick about this movement, it is not the look or the noise of it, but more to the feel of it when I'm changing the day and date. Somehow, it felt flimsy compared to my other watches like my Seiko 5. It almost feels like I'm going to break the movement. Having said that, the winding of the watch is okay. It feels responsive and tactile enough. What I dislike about this watch. First, the water resistance. This watch only has 50 meters of water resistance. Now, if you are new to understanding watch terminologies, 50 meters water resistance doesn't mean you can dive and swim until 50 meters of depth. Instead, it means that it can only withstand light swimming and doing some water activities, not diving. I know, it's all very confusing. So with this watch having only 50 meters, despite having the look of a sporty dive watch, it can't handle diving. And call me paranoid, but I'm not going to put my watch to test, especially after one day of purchasing it. So as I mentioned, we bought this watch before our year-end holiday in Jogja. It was a heavy rainy season, unfortunately, and I brought these three watches with me: the Hamilton Intramatic, the Seiko SNXS 79, and of course our newly bought watch. Little did I know that our trip would include a jeep water trail ride near a volcano, like this. And I obviously do not want to put this new piece to test, because although it says it's 50 meters, but I just don't have enough faith, especially if it's like a new watch. So yeah, I ended up not wearing any watch on that day, and I regretted for not bringing my SKX with me. The point of the story is, I wish this watch is at least 100 meters of water resistance. Then probably it will give me more faith to actually test it out. Second thing that I dislike about this watch is this part here. the black plastic beneath the bezel. This is where I feel that Timex is trying to cut their costs. They don't even care enough to at least make this part silver, or at least paint it like how Casio paint their resin watches silver. Timex instead decided to just leave it black. It looks plastic and it looks cheap. Number 3, the bracelet. Now, here comes the thing that people have been complaining, the bracelet. Although I already mentioned that it doesn't really pluck my hair out, but for some reason, it felt difficult and at times pretty annoying to wear it. I guess it's partly due to my small wrist size and also partly this part being slippery, thus making it as if it's a chore to putting it on because it keeps slipping. I had no idea, somehow it just feels quite annoying to put this watch on. And I realized after having this watch for probably 1 week now, I kind of avoid to choose this watch when I'm in a rush because I'm afraid I can't secure the bracelet properly, that I might slip it and perhaps drop it. So I avoid it altogether, especially I'm in a hurry. I guess another thing is because of the lug and case design, it can be quite difficult to find an alternative strap options for this watch. So for those who really dislike this watch bracelet, perhaps you can consider the GMT version because it has way better bracelet. 4th thing, the acrylic crystal. Dear Timex, although I know that this watch is a reissue of the 1979 watch, but it doesn't mean you have to use all of the 1979 specs. Come on, at least give us a better crystal. I mean, you already changed the movement to a mechanical. Why not upgrade the crystal too? Why do you put on acrylic crystal and it's a dome crystal? In this 1 week, I bet I already knocked this watch few times now, especially because of the thickness of the watch. It's 14.4 mm. It's a thick watch. And yes, I already scratched this watch. Guys, I know that some of y'all don't mind scratches on your watches because it gives some sort of character, but to me, this is a new watch and I do not want to scratch it yet. So that's all for my thoughts. Now let's jump into the comment section. I have to wear glasses. So guys, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to it so that you can see my posts and you can comment honest opinions about all these watches, and I will be featuring your comments in my upcoming video. Now let's check out. So I posted this few days ago, working on a video about this watch, Timex M79, but there's been a delay due to sudden sickness. Yes, I had a very bad influenza. But let me know what are your thoughts about this watch. Honest opinions are welcome. So here's a shot that I took during our year-end holiday in Jogja. Yanadi, nice looking watch. Kinda love the vintage looks. I've been hunting for a daily watch these last few weeks, torn between this Timex and SNXS 73. I'm ordering the SNXS though. Well, you know what? I think you really make the right choice. By far, if I were to compare this Timex and the SNXS, I'll definitely go for SNXS. You know, that watch for me, it's more value for money, and it just looks good. And yeah, you can't go wrong with the SNXS 73. So good choice there. Michael Steele, I'm on the fence about this watch. Looking forward to the video. Yep, hopefully this video helps you, Michael. I would say that definitely do not pay retail price for this watch. It's way too overpriced. Unless you get a really highly discounted price for this, then I can say go for it. Chat Builder 7886, nice shooting location. Is this Prambanan Temple? Oh, you know what? I totally had no idea. How did you spot that? Yes, I took this picture in Prambanan Temple in Jogja. Wow, you had really sharp eye. Zotrex 1946 says that my arm hair hurts just looking at that bracelet. I think you mean hurts. Yeah, I guess if you have hairy hand, hairy wrists, I would say probably don't consider this watch. It can be quite painful to wear. MDZR430 says that Casio please for next video. Okay, I shall make a Casio one soon. Yeah. Clarence Chong 2365. I can't find the Batman version. Oh, so for Indonesia, I did ask the salesperson which one is more popular. Somehow Indonesians prefer the red one, which is this one. But they do have Batman versions still available. Yeah, I hope you can find the Batman version in your home country. I will try my best to post more in my community. You guys can take part in it and discuss about watches. So guys, that's it for my video. This is just a part 1 of this whole watch journey with this guy over here. So my conclusion is, do not pay retail price for this. It's not worth it. If it's highly discounted, I would say it's pretty good. Yeah, I'm quite happy with this so far. Leave down your comments. What are your thoughts about this watch? Have you gotten this? That's it guys. Like this video and share it to your friends and families. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.